let's just start with the elephant in the room. In these Corona times, we have to social distance and everything is going completely haywire. And a lot of artists are being left in the lurch alone and wondering how to finance their lives. But two beginnings. I'm your moderator for the day. We'll be introducing some of our lovely speakers who are going to be speaking about a lot of great topics. And yeah, my name is Ava. Ava like the band, but don't call me Dancing Queen. And yeah, first things first, for all of you guys online, just remember the hashtag that's going to trend today more than the US elections is our most wanted music hashtag, and that will be MWM20. Hashtag MWM20 all over social media. And of course, if you haven't already, get the app, the soft card. You can find it on the App Store, iOS, Play Store. It's all there for you. So without further ado, since we're running a little bit late, we're going to have a full schedule of events here at the cyber stage. But we're going to first start, since I started with a whole lovely topic about how coronavirus has, for example, messed a lot of the incomes of a lot of our artists. Many are going to be wondering how to deal with financing. In particular, this particular next talk is going to be about public financing because there's a lot of talk about private financing and crowdsourcing and the like, but also particular to Berlin and Europe, there's of course the whole options with public financing. And of course, how does it all work? You always need experts who are very, very well experienced in this field. And our speaker, the one I'm running through, Julia Krüger, is working with the Economic Development Board here in Berlin, in the arts scene, and knows all about this topic. So without further ado, I will see you in the next break and give it up to Julia Krüger.
Thanks so much. I'm very, very happy to be on board today for this digital session and also share our thoughts and also my screen. So right now I will dive into the publication without further ado. Just let me check that. And then we can start. Right. So today we're going to talk about public funding and financing for Berlin-based music companies. As our co-host said today, I work for Berlin Partner, and we do help with the settlement of companies to set up the companies. We do marketing campaigns for the city of Berlin, help big players like big labels and other big industry giants from the music industry, but not only. And we also help with technology transfer. And how do we do that? We help find an office space. We help with counsel with funding and financing. We help with talent issues, innovation issues, and also how to scale up. And today my counterpart will be an expert from our funding and financing team, Manuel Akhtar, and he will take you into the more general funding programs, and later on I will jump into the innovation programs. So Manuel, hi, and happy that you're here today, and take over. Manuel, you're still mute.
Sorry for that. Thanks to Julia for introducing me, and yeah, welcome my audience. I would like to give an overview about the most public or important public funding schemes available on Berlin market. Let me first introduce our service, our core service for business financing. So we check the projects, we give some strategies how to obtain best funding programs available, in which order, and then we're going into the funding programs, detailing them and supporting with the application, but not only with the application, also in the long run with the whole project management. Next slide, please. Yeah, you can see there are different initiatives or possibilities for funding and financing. So cash incentives, for example, grants, but also loans, which are either interest reduced or backed with guarantees, public guarantees. That refers to the Bürgschaft or Guarantee Bank of Berlin. And then, of course, we have also public venture. Co-investing into certain projects. Yeah, we have different players on the market. On Berlin level, it's the most important bank, Investment Bank Berlin, which is giving out public funding. We have yeah, also other players like Bank and SME bank financing. As you can see, for each phase of the enterprise development, we have different funding opportunities available on the market. In the starting phase, we have, for example, Vipano as a patent and licensing service or program. We have transfer bonus where you can cooperate with universities or research institutes in Berlin. And we have, for example, the innovation assistant, but also coaching bonus program. Before setting up a company, we have programs. So there's a vast variety of different programs on the startup page, for example, also the founding bonus. When it goes into developing a product, we have R&D projects or programs from bigger ones like Profit or SME Innovative, but also for market entry. For example, the SIM program where you can get grants from national level for SMEs. When it goes into international markets, we have the European Union, European level. The Enterprise Europe Network is also bound to Berlin partners, so we can also address international projects on that scale. One of the most important programs for starting business is which I already introduced, the founding bonus. It is up to 50,000 euros in grants with a 50% quota for the first 2 years of founding a company. We have the business plan competition award, Berlin Brandenburg, where companies could hand in their business plan and receive also grants in the initial phase. Next page, please. Next to the founding bonus, because 50% are still or have to come somehow from the private market, we could also offer the microcredit program from IBB, where 25,000 euros or for technology companies, 50,000 euros are available as a loan that could be used for financing the founding bonus as well. In the initial phase, or also in a later phase, we have the coaching bonus. Here, coaches or listed coaches from the IBB give support to companies and founding teams or founding companies. For example, setting up a business plan or a financial plan, but also addressing marketing strategies, etc. pp. One of the biggest programs in order to support develop or companies development and growth is the so-called improvement of regional economic structures. It's a national program which could be used in Berlin, since Berlin is a structurally weak region within Germany. You see 30% quotas for small companies, reduced 20% for mid-sized companies, and 10% at least for large companies in so-called C areas of Berlin. So Berlin is divided into C and D areas, and we make sure, for example, that settlements are taking place in so-called C areas within the city. This program can be used also for media, music, tech companies, also for industrial companies, digital companies all over overall. So we have to make sure that the programs or that the companies are fundable within this program. Additional to this grant program, we have different loans available on national level from KfW, but also on regional level from Investment Bank Berlin. Of course, for startups, it's not so easy to receive loans and to be bankable. So there we can support with the context to house banks and discuss projects, whether they are fundable via loans or not. So the client, the company always addresses the house bank, and the house bank is then presenting the projects to KfW or IBB, and we can be a counterpart in order to bring all these players together. Last but not least, for startups, very important is the equity capital. So on regional level, the daughter company of Investment Bank Berlin has created IBB Ventures, which is co-financing the private equity. We also have for investors invest equity capital. It's the last point. where investors will receive up to 20% in guarantees when investing into companies. We have for starting teams the high-tech founding bonus or a fund which is available up to 500,000 euros in the first phase. And I think it's divided into two phases, at least 3 years, supported by the high-tech founding fund, where companies or starting companies get their support. When it comes to higher amounts in equity, we also have Cooperation equity on national level. So after IBB Ventures, for example, Cooperation could step in B rounds, for example. That's the overview about most important programs to fund setting up of companies and growth of companies. And then, of course, there's a vast variety of innovation programs available on the market, which Julia will present you in a short moment.
Great. Thanks a lot, Manuel, for being here today. I know that it's busy times for our financial team, so thanks a lot for taking the time today. And if you have any questions to our experts, just feel free. You will see my contact data in the slides also later on. Then get back to me and I will hand it over to our experts. Thanks for being here, Manuel, and I will take over.
Thank you very much, Julia. And take the opportunity to contact us via Julia. Yeah, you're very much invited. Have a good time. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Great. So I will jump into one of our other pillars. So we also focus on innovation transfer and to foster innovative projects between companies, SMEs and startups, and the R&D institutions here in Berlin, but also in Germany and as well on the EU level. And as Manuel mentioned, there are a variety of programs that can be used in the initial founding phase or in the later growth and scaling phase. So I would like to jump in with the low-hanging fruit. And the first one is the Innovation Assistant, which is a wage funding program for junior positions that you get on board in your own company to get know-how from the universities. It's a wage funding grant of up to 20K for the first year of employment, the first 12 months, maximum 50% of the salary. And the second year of employment then will not be funded, but it's the application is very low, and we also help you with the applications to sort out if the conditions are met, and we counsel before you hand in the application to the IBB as well. One of the other low-hanging fruit programs to trigger contact to R&D institutions here in Berlin and Brandenburg is the transfer bonus. You can have a feasibility study in the first type, the entry type, funded with 100% of a grant, or then the standard variant of a collaboration with a university, maximum 15,000 euro as a grant, and the project frame then would be 20K to develop activities with specific scientific institutions, to have a mock-up, an MVP, something to develop, and you can do that 3 times in a row. But if you are really aiming for the bigger bang, then it is the digitization variant, which is digitizing a fully analog process. So time card stamps into a digital time managing tool, for instance. And there you would get up to 45K as a grant for the whole project. So our focus there is really to get you in touch with R&D institutions, get back to me if you have a project in mind to collaborate with an R&D institutions, and we could see which would be a good partner in this field. And we also then monitor the application process and give feedback here as well. And it's not a big bureaucratic effort, I would say. So it's something that startups and small teams can do as well. So Manuel also jumped into our patent funding program, Vipano. That's also a grant. And there we have a special expert in the funding financing team who can also research patents on a global scale and give you info about options for patent funding, but also for other options of getting your IP. And there we also can help if you want. Well, the next one is also on the international level. We have the Enterprise Europe Network that Manuel also mentioned, and there we foster collaborations also by having platforms and a special entry of companies looking for partners in the EU. But we also keep track of European funding models and have B2B partnering missions. And we're in close contact, for example, with the Creative Europe desk here to make sure that we post all the relevant fundings. For instance, on my LinkedIn account, you can see what's available there. Currently running is Music Moves Europe, but there are also other bigger projects for startups in the tech scene, the EIC Accelerator, for instance, where the funding gets into the millions, and yeah, all other funding programs on the EU level as well. So a little excursus, since we are facing quite odd times these days. So we also were involved a lot into the Corona-related funding programs. So we had good contact to the Investment Bank of Berlin, but also to our colleagues from the Kreativwirtschaftsberatung, BMC, Visit Berlin, our Senate, the Competence Center of the Federal State of Germany, and of course the Enterprise Europe Network and the EU funding institutions. So what did we do? We did town hall calls. Just check our profiles, my profiles, also the IBB Twitter account. And there the latest news about all Corona-related programs will be posted. So we focused also a lot on startup support, on loans. As Manuel said, we had various talks with companies about how to get these Corona loans, and talked about conditions and other routes that might be applicable as well. We also dived much deeper into R&D funding and other pilot programs. For example, there's one on innovative business models and pioneer solutions from the BMWI, our Federal Economic Ministry, that we hope that will be prolonged next year as well, since it's one of the only programs fostering on non-technical business innovations. And also there are many programs with a focus on cultural and creative initiatives that we try to keep track in collaboration with our colleagues from Kulturförderpunkt and also the Kreativwirtschaftsberatung. So these are my contact data. As Manuel just mentioned, if you have any questions, we would be happy and very happy to guide you through this puzzle and jungle of public funding. And just get back to me, approach me, and I will be happy to answer these. I see that we have a couple more minutes until the time is running out, so I will stop my slide and see if there's any question in the chat. That's not the case. So what I would also like to mention is, again, if you have any questions for the Corona-related projects and public funding, just get back to the IBB Twitter page. There all the latest developments are posted, all the new programs are posted. I know that the Corona-Hilfe 4 has been started at the beginning of the week. Our colleagues from the Kreativwirtschaftsberatung will be able to be approached via the IBB contact form, so you can ask them questions. And I can only assure you that there will be many more programs that will be coming. For instance, there's one we're waiting for that will be monitored by the colleagues of Visit for the event industry. That's something we're very much looking forward to have and to counsel then on. And feel free to get back to us, and we will be happy to onboard you, to guide you through that whole jungle of public funding and to see how we can help. And especially, I think, as Manuel mentioned also, if you want to have a loan that is not connected to your house bank, the microcredit is a very good option to have a little backup and a little buffer that you can use with other to prepare other projects and to get a little time for your company as well. So that's something that we saw that is very much demanded, and there the application processes still are very fast as well. Okay, now I see that I need to go to another company meeting already. I hope that you have a wonderful day and that you enjoyed our insights into public funding for music companies in Berlin. And I will be happy to receive emails, comments. So feel free to get back to me and I will be happy to ask. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much, Julian. Thank you very much, Manu. That was such a lovely talk, because we all know it's a jungle out there and knowing is half the battle. So do reach out and make the most of it. So now we're going to need a few minutes to do a changeover, because we're going to have a networking think tank, and we're going to be demoing a type of software that we need to prepare for. And this next session is going to be about half an hour long. So we're going to start in about 10 to 15 minutes time. So please hang on. Perfect bathroom, great time. And it'll be all about networking and making the most of this whole event, or series of events that we're putting over. So ladies and gentlemen, hashtag MWM20. We'll be right back after this change.